Quality is.
Socialism America and a world is possible. So join us today to help build in Colorado Springs democratic socialism America. They know that the systems that oppress the LGBTQIA plus community are connected to the struggle of other
Everyone's gonna have food.
marginalized.
Alright, we're live. So, looks good.
So this is the time to start picking my nose.
You should have done that earlier.
Dang it! I should have done that 5 minutes ago.
Maybe you also shouldn't have said that.
Well,
Because you're already.
I mean, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's like
It's
you.
funny. It's no one like is actually gonna judge you for saying that.
No, I mean, but it's the whole. Yeah, I mean, when I was in college, I did a sociology thing where I just like, I'm gonna just sit at a stoplight and just see, because you think you're like invisible in your car, right? And like, how many people are picking their nose at the stoplight? It's insane.
You see people?
Oh yeah, people. You just do it sometimes. Just stop at a stoplight.
Like
Just sit on the sidewalk and look at people as they're. And people are. Yes.
That's funny. I want to be more self-conscious to make sure I don't.
Yeah. Now you know. Let me help you out with that.
I look over, you're in the other car. In fact, we saw Yemi. This is what we're going to be reporting on.
Yeah, Yemi. He grooms himself sometimes when he's in private.
We have exclusive video of Yemi picking his nose.
We're going live in a minute. Thank you, sir. Jordan, you're fully in the shot there?
I believe so.
Can you see? You wave? Okay. Cool. Okay, headphones on, volume.
I can't hear you if you're not in the microphones.
What?
I can't hear you unless you're in the phones now.
Hey,
Brought you a pie.
thank you, sir.
Jordan, hello. I'll leave you in the break room. Hope you enjoy.
Good to see
Thank
you.
you. Appreciate the pie. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy
We're
Thanksgiving.
going live with the Yemi No number 2.
We don't get to eat pie on there?
This video looks good.
We were
Yeah,
delivered
they
a
changed
pie.
it up. Have you not?
Humble pie.
It's been a little while.
Okay, guys, you gotta go. Thank you, Scott. I brought snacks.
I have a copy of that.
You're good? Cool. Welcome to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer. And thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday, which is traditionally, as when we're following our schedule, is Government and Politics Tuesday. And we always try to do that. And hey, guess what? It matches what we're doing on the show. But what we've learned here is that when you're covering news, you often have to go off schedule. And if you were able to watch our show yesterday or listen to our show yesterday, because we're also streaming on Facebook, I should say that, go to facebook.com, The Peak News Media, and we're live streaming right now, I believe on YouTube also. If you want to see radio on video. That's what you're going to get. But you also get behind the scenes, because during the commercials we're talking about stuff. People pointed that out from yesterday's show. So if you want to catch us at the breaks, you can do that. But we're doing citizen journalism here, and we're trying to bring transparency, media accountability. The Watchman, that's what the media is supposed to be. And I say supposed to because, as we've all seen, the media is not doing its job. It's not doing its job. Nationally, I've been saying this, the biggest loser in the elections was the media, because it really came out how partisan it is, how vicious it can be, and it's not trying to serve the people. But what I've also been saying, and I've been going a little bit out on a limb saying it, is that when we launched the Peak News back in January, it was because even the local media here is not doing its job. And, I don't know how much it's lying or covering over things or doing things, but I just know that there's so many stories that aren't being told. And if I had the resources of these broadcast centers, of these newspapers, I would absolutely be looking at these stories and not, when is the next In-N-Out burger opening up, because that tends to make the front page around here. And so I knew something was up, but I didn't know how up it was until this past Thursday, when the Daily Wire, and if you don't know about it, you should. They're definitely conservative news source, should just be news source, that have established themselves very well, especially over the past few years here in the United States. And they came out with a story that, if true, should have been broken by a local entity. We would love to do it. We just don't have the resources until you come join us as citizen journalists and other people give us money and we build the Peak into this really great organization that I and others who are working with me envision for this, to bring accountability for our region. But they broke a news story that this indictment that we all heard about a week and a half ago, that 3 people have been indicted by the federal government for perpetrating a hoax, a hate crime hoax, during the mayoral election in 2023. In this federal indictment, it shows that they were texting with our mayor, Yemi Mobolade, and that the accusation is they did this as a hoax in order to help him win the campaign. What we didn't hear, and anything else, is, well, did Yemi know? Well, the Daily Wire article, and you can find it on the Daily Wire, and you can also find it on our website, thepeak.news, and we've set up a special page for this whole report, and we'll tell you about, we continue to add to it, is that Yemi did know that he was in touch with them before, during, and after, and when the feds came to interview him about it, he lied. And that's a big accusation, that he knew what was going on. And yet, the really big story is the media basically has gone silent on it. KRDO has one thing, Richard Randall, to his credit, is talking about it, but everybody else, and as of this morning, I don't know if they've changed, it's like it didn't happen. They're not investigating it, they're ignoring it. And so it's like, whoa, what's going on here? That the media wouldn't be reporting on something. Maybe they don't have the information, but at least report that the Daily Wire, a national news outlet, is making an accusation against our mayor. That's news, folks. Media can follow media. It happens all the time. We follow other reports. So this broke on Thursday, and we didn't have a show from Thursday to Monday, and I'm going, I want to tell this story, I can't. But when we told it yesterday, we were still the only ones breaking it and the only ones investigating it, and that, to me, is crazy. What is going on in this town? So I would invite you to listen to yesterday's show. You can go on thepeak.news. Our podcast is up there. Go on our Facebook page. I've actually embedded the Facebook video on our website, and we have a special page for it, but you can find it easily from thepeak.news. Yesterday, I was dealing with the fact of why isn't the media doing it, and what do the people know? And this man, during his run, and since he's become mayor, it's like he's never been asked a hard question. He's so charming that nobody's asked him a hard question, hold his feet to the fire. We tried when he came on the Peak, and I think we did an okay job, but you get to answer questions or you don't answer questions. But it's yesterday what we did in the show was, because we want to take a neutral line here. We hope this isn't true. We hope that Yemi isn't in trouble, that he didn't do this. But people that didn't look into his background and his possible connection to socialism and Marxists and BLM would have cognitive dissonance, like this couldn't be him, and also lying, it couldn't be him. So on yesterday's show, we sought to show that he knew these people in the indictment a lot more than he's claiming. And today, we're going to establish, I don't know if we want to call it character or what is this person like? And is it possible that he would have lied to the federal government? And we have on the program Jordan Baldwin, our investigative journalist, back, and Andrew Dalby, local businessman, and he ran in the same campaign with Yemi, against Yemi, in there. And we're going to break, but very quickly, Jordan Baldwin, Andrew Dalby, thanks so much for being on the Peak.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Well,
it's great to be here.
When we come back, I'm going to fill you more in on the indictment and the Daily Wire article, and then we're going to delve into this fact. Does it look like Yemi might be a person who would have lied to the federal government? I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman, and we'll be right back.
Good start.
Okay, was that a good context?
Yeah.
Because
I
I
think
very
so.
often in this first segment, I don't even know what I'm saying.
No, that's
Don't even know what I'm saying, just trying to
That's good.
envision the story. So, okay. So, still on. We have people joining. Hello, viewers. Thank you for joining us. We're at the commercial break, and this is where we discuss, tighten up what we decided we're going to do in this segment. So, this is a 10-minute segment. I'm going to seek to do in about 5 or 6 minutes a synopsis of the Daily Wire article, a synopsis of the indictment, and also read this statement that Yemi sent. Interestingly, I got a call today from someone that when I read this disclaimer yesterday, I interpreted it that Yemi was saying that he had no involvement in lying to the federal government. This thing that he gave to Richard Randall, and Richard Randall wrote on the air. What this person said, read it again, because it looks, what Yemi is denying is once again that he has any involvement with the hoax itself. That he wasn't claiming that he didn't lie, because I thought that this was him doing that, but in the speed of news, I read it wrong. But I'm going to correct the fact that this may be. But again, the way he presents information is possibly can be misinterpreted, and that may start to, because this was so not clear that I didn't even pick up on the fact that it might be saying two different things, one of two different things, and that may be part of why it's a statement. So,
well, I'd have to scour over where it is, but I know there's somewhere where he says that when he does finally acknowledge that he knew this man, that he only knew him as media. So I don't know where that came from. I have to get that exact thing.
Yeah, no, that's his official response.
Is that in the official press release?
That's his official response.
Yeah,
that was issued.
Yeah, I was sent the official response by Vanessa, so I can look into that.
No, I got it right here.
You do.
But so this is where we can kind of expound on that, because even so, this was a quote unquote minority-owned media company that was involved in
that incident during we're back in 30 seconds. That incident during my campaign led to a very traumatic time for my family, my campaign team, and our community. My knowledge and interaction with Bernard was as a local media personality, and I was not aware at the time that he was suspected of a crime. I appreciate local and federal law enforcement work in pursuing justice and sending a message that we will not tolerate such reprehensible behavior. So did he mean involvement in, rather than disputable, what did he mean here? Disreputable? Okay, we're back. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer, and this is day 2 of our report, Did Mayor Yemi Know? So it's part 2, and this is a trilogy of programs. We're going to be completing it tomorrow before we take a break for the Thanksgiving holiday, and I'll let you know at the end of the program who we have on tomorrow. That's really, really exciting, but no more exciting than who we have on today, because we have Jordan Baldwin from First Amendment Media, who is our lead investigative journalist, and we have Andrew Dalby, a Colorado Springs native, local businessman, and former mayoral candidate, ran against Yemi and a whole field cast of characters in the 2023 Colorado Springs election. So again, gentlemen, thanks so much for coming on the program today.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
So we invite you, so I don't have to recap everything, is to go and listen to our podcast on your favorite podcast network, The Peak News. Go on our website, thepeak.news, listen there. Go on our Facebook page, watch the Facebook feed. But watch yesterday's show because we had Darcy Shaning on, and we presented a lot of evidence. And really yesterday was establishing, was Yemi have more of a relationship with these people, at least the prime suspect, Patrick Bernard, that's his name?
Derek
Bernard, sorry. Derek Bernard, and I think we established that he knew him, even was considered a mentor and had lots of interactions, and the characterization that he didn't know him well, only knew him as a media personality, which is what came out in his official statement, which I'll read shortly, that there's more to it than that. I also want to say and make sure that I'm saying that we have invited Yemi on the show through Vanessa Zink, who is the person who books him multiple times since the story broke, and what we've been offered is this official response, and we continue to invite Yemi on to answer questions about this. No gotchas, we don't do gotchas here. We want to find out, if this is true or not. So, very quickly, the Daily Wire, which you can go on thedailywire.com, the title of the article that came out on Thursday, Mayor lied in hate crime hoax probe, but DOJ, stands for Department of Justice, refused to charge him, FBI officials say. And what this says is that these men who were indicted with federal charges, there's an FBI agent, not named, we're looking for who that person is to get that source, says that Yemi knew before, during, and after, and when he was being interviewed by the feds, they already had his text messages. He lied about things that were on his phone, but they did not prosecute him. Why? Because he quotes another person saying, we can't indict the first black mayor of Colorado Springs. That would show, I guess, what we call liberal privilege or something like that, that because of, who he is, or black privilege or whatever, there was some privilege there that somehow this crime of lying to federal agents would not be prosecuted, would not be come after because of who he was, being a black man there. So, if you look at the indictment, they call Yemi is candidate number 1 is in here, and there are text messages from this Bernard, who, by the way, was convicted very recently of ordering the murder of a rap artist who he had a problem with. So this is someone who's a criminal. Also yesterday we talked about who this Bernard is, and what's the name of the organization?
Family Flavors the Slide.
That a media organization that was also involved, and their ties to things like BLM and Marxist organizations and these types of things. But in here, it has text messages where Bernard is texting Yemi saying during the runoff election between him and Wayne Williams, I guarantee the finish. There are things like that. And there's things you can read the indictment. We have a link to it on our website, on this page. By the way, I'll give it to you now and later. It's thepeak.news. We have a link from the homepage, but it's hate crime hoax, /hate crime hoax, and we're continuing to put more information up there. But it talks about a black ops operation that was going to help Yemi. But what we don't have that's suspicious, that is any response from Yemi, is seemingly, if there was one, is redacted, and there's a talk of a phone call, which if there's a phone call, there's a response, most likely. And that's all redacted. So this claim in the Daily Wire article that Yemi knew and that Yemi, responded, it looks like that's a possibility because we have these texts during that time. And again, on yesterday's show, we sought to establish that because what we're looking for is the facts. And also for those of you, and I think the media is in this level of cognitive dissonance of having never taken the claims during the campaign that he was Marxist, looking into that, never really asking him a serious question. He's been on a honeymoon since he came in. He's a very charismatic guy. I like him. He's like, I think we all think of him as a friend. He's a great guy. But is it possible that he did this? And that's what we're trying to establish, and to wake people up that there may be more. Doesn't mean he did it. By the way, with all the evidence that we're presenting, can't prove whether he lied to the feds. That's going to have to be something that that the feds are going to have to come out and give that evidence to do. But we're trying to bring you the evidence that we have. We just weren't able to bring it to light until this article. So, as a response, just so that you know, the official response that we got from Yemi's office is this. That is, quote, that incident during my campaign led to a very traumatic time for my family, my campaign team, and our community. My knowledge and interaction with Bernard was as a local media personality, and I was not aware at the time that he was suspected of this crime. I appreciate local and federal law enforcement work in pursuing justice and sending a message that we will not tolerate such reprehensible behavior. Secondarily, he sent a text to Richard Randall, who does a radio show on KVOR, personally on Friday, and this is what it said. Richard, it's Mayor Yemi. I want to thank you for reaching out to have me on your show. I would like the opportunity to eventually get on your show to clear the air, but as you can understand as an attorney yourself, I have to respect the process. Because like you, I want justice to be served unequivocally. I have no knowledge of, no warning of, and no involvement in this. I'm not sure that this word, disreputable act, I think it is. I have cooperated with all of the investigators and will continue to work with them in the shared interest of bringing these individuals to justice. You're welcome to share this with your listeners. So I thought on the air, and this happens when you're covering a breaking story, I read this, I think, wrong, and I said that this was Yemi saying that he did not lie to the feds. Someone I know called me today and said, read it again. What Yemi is saying is just a different version of what he said in his official release, that he was not involved in the hate crime hoax at all, but we're being told Yemi won't come on to talk to anybody because this is an ongoing investigation, charges him, and he doesn't want to interfere with that. And everybody is saying that's not what we want to talk to you about. Did you lie to the feds? Did they talk to you? And did you lie? And I'm getting, as we're again on today's show, talking about might Yemi be a person who might find himself lying to the federal government, because that's what the Daily Wire claims. Is he that kind of person? Well, in trying to get some information from him, not to say anything about these other guys or the relevance, but when they ask you questions, did you lie? We haven't been able to get any answer, and he's not showing up on anybody's program. We have about a minute left. Andrew, would you please just give your background so when we come back we can really get into it, just your background and your experience with Yemi running in the campaign.
Yeah, sure. I'm a Colorado Springs native, and I ran.
This is Andrew Dalby.
Yeah, Andrew Dalby. And I ran for mayor in 2023. Just because I care about our community and I thought there were some issues. Certainly I said some negative comments about Wayne Williams as well as Yemi. I obviously got to know them both fairly well, went to a whole lot of forums with them. When you're running for office, it's a full-time job, and you basically you're
like a traveling circus with all these people.
Yeah, exactly. You get to be like coworkers. So yeah, we'll see you tomorrow at tomorrow's event. And so I got to know both of them fairly well. And so I have issues with both of the men who ended up in the runoff, and I'm happy to share what I know firsthand in regard to that.
Right, and you were going around, there was experience we'll be talking about where there was supposed to be a mayoral forum with the El Paso County Democrats. What I think is going on here, folks, is that people never really looked into this, and when the time came to do it, it was Wayne and Yemi. And a lot of people on the Republican conservative side didn't like either candidate. And so this stuff was left up in the air. And now about a year or so into Yemi's tenure, we're dealing with this issue. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. We'll be back with the Peak right away. Okay, we've established that. So this segment, you're doing what?
I got it.
What is it? Just remind me again.
So I do have two clips. He had cleaned up that Dear Yemi clip, and then we have the Democratic Socialists of America.
How long is that? Remember, this is just 5.5 minutes, and I have to do it.
So the Democratic Socialists of America clip's only 43 seconds.
And you want to play the whole thing?
Yeah, I would like to, because it really would kind of encapsulate what we're talking about with this intersectionality and the city.
So I'll throw this to you within 30 seconds. You need to do a quick setup, play the clip, and then have time to do it.
Okay.
Then is there a second clip in this segment?
Well, the Dear Yemi video, which I could either read that verbatim again, or we could play a little bit of that.
Okay,
And
because that was noisy. Has that been cleaned up?
yeah, he said he cleaned it up since
Is
then.
that-
He
What do you think, James? Is it worth the time? Is it worth the time, or should he just read it like? Can people understand it on the radio? Okay, the
I
one
could
thing
say
is,
that.
by the way, when we play clips, it's not going out over Facebook, so
Okay.
that's just something to.
Yeah, and I could set it up. That would be on the second, like the second point where I could set it up and kind of maybe hit on a couple things that are about to be said. But that, I mean,
What do you think? Again, it's a short segment, so what's the best use of your time?
yeah, I would say let's get to the point and let's use them and just add in the
Okay.
content and
Okay,
and do
but
it.
again, the people who are listening on Facebook, they won't hear that clip unless they go on our site and things like that. That's
So then let's just.
You think it's clean? So we have a 43-second clip, and how long is that other one? Okay. Okay, just know that that's taking, that's 2 minutes, that's two full
Okay.
minutes
Okay.
of your 4.5 minutes.
Okay.
So just know you're gonna have to be really concise if you're gonna talk around it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. We're back in about a minute. Okay. You good?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, 30 seconds. Sorry, the music coming in from this clip is the Eurythmics, Would I Lie to You? So my music is proving prophetic. Okay, we're back. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer, and we're continuing. This is part 2, continuing from yesterday's show, looking into a claim by the Daily Wire, national news service, that this hate crime hoax that was perpetrated during the mayoral campaign, Colorado Springs mayoral campaign of 2023, that it was done for the benefit of Yemi Mobilati, and that he knew before, during, and after. And when the feds came and questioned him about it, he lied to them. That is the accusation. Yesterday, we looked into the connection between him and the main perpetrator, so check that out. And today, just like the music just said, would I lie to you? Is Yemi a person that could find himself lying to the federal government, knowing that he's an immigrant, he's a pastor, he ran for office, he's sworn, to serve. Is this something that is realistic that we could do? And so we have with us today in this segment, investigative journalist Jordan Baldwin of First Amendment Media. Jordan, what would you like to say on this topic?
Yeah. So. Definitely check out our program from yesterday so you have a little bit more context. But basically, what's going on is we have this situation here where Yemi, I have known him from the past. We've went to him before in First Amendment Media with an issue regarding the Democratic Socialists of America, which Darcy Schoening had brought up the other day, yesterday that is. And we went to him because they had marched through the city 2 years ago in 2022 with a message of riot for your rights.
During the Pride Parade. Part of the Pride Parade.
Correct. So we followed up with that. Former Mayor Makepeace had told us to speak with him. When we did so and we spoke with him, he told us that he was concerned that this could affect the Democratic Party. It's gonna, that it doesn't make the Democratic Party look too good, and he would speak with them. and so we knew that he had a relationship with them, at least in regards to going to speak with them, and he said he committed to do that. We run up to that incident, and I did not have to speak with him this year because the socialists did not march with that message. But that's where we started to see that there was this connectivity with this socialist collectivist message of oppression, because in this clip that we're about to play here, it really shows you what they did and how they take this CRT collectivist identity politic type message, and they try to blend it, to weaponize it, to, I'd say, perpetrate harm within our community. So if you want to play that clip, we could kind of set that up a little bit, and then I can give you a little bit more context as to what we did from there.
You're out of time. You're out of time, and you focused on socialism instead of him lying.
Okay.
Like that was not what you were supposed to do.
Okay, I'll wrap. I can wrap it.
You're out of time. The clip's over in 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, I can. Well, if we're gonna go to the next one, I can kind of connect it.
Yeah, but that's Andrew's segment.
Okay.
You didn't deliver on this set on what you were supposed to.
I got to
do
get
on
a
this
timer
segment.
in front of me.
Okay, but you didn't. This was supposed to be about him lying. It wasn't supposed to be. Yesterday was Social Democrats. Today
So is this it right after this? Is there time to wrap it?
Right.
So that basically is right where everything had been filmed. She had told me to talk to Yemi, and then this leads up to us seeing all this other evidence that's coming out. This unsealed indictment. Darcy saying there's this connection of him at the Chinook Center, or he has pictures with these people. So this picture starts to get painted to where, I know Mayor Yemi personally as well. And I don't want to believe that he could be lying about any of this. But the evidence is showing that there could potentially be some dishonesty going on here. So check out our program from yesterday, and you can check out our evidence section of our website, and you can find all of that there.
And so the question is when we're looking into this, is he a person that is not who he says he is? And one thing that was said, during the campaign that I got a lot, that no matter where he was being like a politician. He was being very much a people pleaser. And then it came down to the fact when he won, well, how's he not going to upset everybody when he starts to do policy? The question is, and people are questioning, has he been actually instituting policy here? Because he put himself into a pickle by trying to please everybody regardless of where he was. And so as we're questioning, did Mayor Yemi know, today we're focusing on the fact of, did Mayor Yemi lie? I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman, and we'll be right back with Andrew Dalby.
I tried to wrap it as best I could to kind of go in that direction.
I know, but it was not on point of what we were trying to put in that segment.
But in all reality, if we had tried to squeeze that other clip in there, it might have been even crazier.
Okay.
So I think.
Okay. This thing blanks out every so often, and
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's because I didn't plug this in.
didn't plug it
I literally
in.
had the cord and everything, but then I
Okay.
forgot to plug it in.
okay. Hey everybody, hope you're enjoying the program.
Didn't go to sleep though at all?
It did a couple of. Well, it went. I watched it go black,
Okay.
and so can you make sure? Are we still streaming?
I'll have to check.
Okay. It's very important to stay.
Well, and as
stay
we
on point.
and as we progress, I can kind of refer back, so it'll kind of give it a little bit more context and take it in the direction you
But
want.
this segment is Andrew's.
No, not on
We're
this
We're
segment.
coming
As
back.
far
We
as,
have,
like,
we have
right.
the 7 minutes at the end that we haven't even decided yet
Right.
what to do.
Exactly.
Because we were going to see where this goes. So if you want to recoup with that, but I would like you to
Not
bring
get
in.
into.
But I would like you to bring in the part where, like what I was saying, that
Where we're at
is this in this area of is he a person that might have done such a thing, and do we have any evidence? Because everything we're doing is circumstantial, so we're just trying to lay it out for the people at home. We're back in 30. To lay it out for the people at home, I guess it's in a way it's like a character thing. Because he's so likable and he's a nice guy, and I think all of us who are around him like him. But the thing is might he do something like this? Are there indications in his character? And that's that's the evidence that we want to present today as part two. So if you have that and can bring that.
Gotcha.
Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer, and this is day two of our report on Did Mayor Yemi Know, regarding a Daily Wire article that you can go on our website, thepeak.news, and we have a link there. You can go on the Daily Wire. And this article claims that Mayor Yemi knew about a hoax that was perpetrated, a hate crime hoax, that during his campaign, in order to help him, and he knew the perpetrators, and he was involved, at least in communication with them before, during, and after, and when the federal government was investigating, that he lied to them. What's amazing, and in a way sad, but it's a great opportunity for us here at the Peak, is none of the other media in town is even picking up on this and talking about it, which in a way blows my mind, but it's like, okay, I was right. Like there's something afoot here in not covering this town. And so we're trying to cover this story, without any axe to grind. If Yemi is innocent of this, awesome. But if he's not, it needs to come out. And by this Daily Wire article, it claims that he was not prosecuted by the feds, even though they had the goods on him, because he was the first black mayor of Colorado Springs. And how in the world could you do that? And of course that goes into the whole DEI thing and the special privileges and all that un-American stuff. So folks, I'm hearing from people everything from there's no story here, don't even bother, to buckle up, because this is about to unpack into something huge. And so we figure that we should go down the middle, present evidence, because we've been researching things that I guess the other news stations totally ignored. They never looked into the guy, but we've been doing that here, and we all have relationship with Yemi. And someone who definitely does is a former mayoral candidate in the same race with Yemi, Andrew Dalby, local businessman, Colorado Springs native. And Andrew, you gave us your background before. What I'd like to get into now is, what were some things that you saw when you were out on the campaign trail and you were sizing up your opponents that concerned you about Yemi?
Well, the biggest thing that bothered me about Yemi is that he would talk in just jargon language, word salads. I mean, so, we just got done with a presidential campaign where Kamala Harris would speak, and what she said was absolutely incoherent, and everybody could see it because she's just not skilled as a speaker. Yemi says things, and they're equally vacuous. They have no content to the words, but it sounds soothing. He looks good. He's very fashionable, is what I like to say about him. Is he looks good in nice clothes, and he has a soothing voice, and he tells you, friends, we're going to come together and we're going to solve problems. But there's no content to his speech. I mean, and that was one of the things that backstage at some of the events, the other candidates were doing. He didn't say anything. He didn't answer the question. People ask him, well, what were you going to do about this? Well, we're going to come together and friends. The struggle is real, and I hear you. But there's nothing. There's no there. Whenever he says, there's nothing there. And so you read that official response that he had. I was not aware at the time that he was suspected of this crime. That doesn't say anything. I mean, were you aware? Are you aware now that he was suspected? When did you become aware of that? And were you aware that he had committed the crime and you just didn't know that he was suspected of the crime at the time? It reminds me of Bill Clinton. What is the meaning of is, right? So, is there a relationship between you and Monica Lewinsky? Well, no, not right this minute. I'm not currently engaged in sexual behavior with her. What is it? When? When did he know about this? And I looked up this, and you're right. There's nothing in the current media about this. I looked on the Gazette page, and I went through like 5 pages of scrolling through stories, and there's nothing on this. But
even though the Daily Wire broke it nationally, you would think the local would try to quickly get on top of this.
Right, but I did. I looked back, and this was his official statement. At the time, at the day of the incident, he said, I'm aware of the video sent to media and recognize the hurt this heinous content causes our city. We do not know if the photo is of real events or if it was staged or created. Either way, it's reprehensible. This is not the Colorado Springs we know, and it is likely the actions of an unhealthy individual. Simply put, this is a distraction from what this election is about, blah, blah, blah. But that's, again, it sounds like he knew what was going on. It sounds like he knew, but he was being a politician and trying to maintain plausible deniability.
But if you look in this federal indictment against these three individuals, it's clear that he was texted by them before, during, and after that there was something up that they were doing in order to assist the campaign.
Right. And I mean, again, I hate to think of myself as a politician. I think of myself as a concerned citizen.
Statesman, right?
Well, no, I mean, I didn't get elected, so I'm not a statesman. But as a concerned citizen, as a businessman who ran because I care about our city. But I hate this gotcha stuff that we're involved in now, labeling everybody. Oh, he's a socialist. Oh, he's a rhino. I don't even know what those words mean anymore. They're just epithets that we throw at people to try to defame them. But and I hate it when people are like, oh, did you know that his campaign took money from this unsavory character? Well, when you're running for office, you want to have as big of a tent as possible, right? So that if you want to give me money, I'll take your money, right? I mean, even if I am manifestly opposed to your agenda, I mean, if nothing else, I'm defunding you, right? So there's no problem with that. I don't see that, and so there's, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, well, not everybody who supported me do I agree with 100%, and yet, when you see these kind of dissimulation, it seems like there's something more there.
I would like you to tell the story of this. It was supposed to be, I think, a mayoral forum or debate with the El Paso County Democratic Party, where only seemingly Yemi was invited.
Only Yemi was invited, yeah. So
while he was running unaffiliated and seeking to be he's a neutral person.
Well, so municipal elections in Colorado are by law nonpartisan. So your partisan affiliation, you're allowed to have a partisan affiliation, but it doesn't appear on the ballot, and the parties are not supposed to be involved in any way. And so we did have a forum at the Libertarian Party where all the candidates went, and we had a discussion, and got along well with them. But then there was a Democratic Party quote-unquote forum, but there was only one candidate who was invited or even notified of the event.
And there were 12 candidates.
There were 12 of us, yeah. And so, I found out about it through back channels, and Jim
Miller, who's here, just a guy who's on a regular on our program.
Right. He and I crashed the party, and it was obvious that we were, they were very uncomfortable that we were there because they thought this was a stealth campaign event that they weren't going to, have any knowledge of. And so then, I asked, well, why didn't you invite anybody else? And the answer was, well, we're trying to campaign for him. He's the one we're coordinating with, and which is not legal. And so, but that's the sort of thing that happened. And so then, what we'd have forums at the churches. You talked about having a forum at the road during the runoff, and they'd be asked questions about stances that are pretty standard in Christianity. Are you in favor of supporting Planned Parenthood or whatever? But then, give your standard Christian answer, no, that's not something that the government should be funding. And then we went to this Democratic thing, and I videotaped this, and so it's out there.
And we'll have that on the site.
Where they asked, is there any way or should the government have any restrictions on abortion whatsoever? He said, no, it's immoral to restrict abortion in any fashion.
This is Yemi, so giving very opposite answers at different forums.
Right, and so, that was one of the things is I would talk to people who were my friends who voted for Yemi, and they're like, he's a staunch Christian and a good businessman, which of course, then his business partner ended up being convicted of crime. Well, he didn't know, but then he also...
Well, there was you can look this up, there was an embezzlement, there was also a lawsuit with his vendor Shamrock, where...
And that's where I was going too,
employees, a problem. There were a lot of things around it, but he was touting the fact that he was a successful businessman as one of his...
Right, and so now those businesses are out of business because they filed for bankruptcy, because he stiffed his vendors, and he stole from his employees, and his ex-business partner, who was convicted of embezzlement, his his argument was that he didn't know that he was bamboozled. But again, I don't know if he's stupid and has bad judgment, or if he's complicit. But there's the old saying: "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." If you continually are around people who are a bad character, what does that say about you?
Right. And so we have about a minute left. Why do you think, with all of that, it didn't seem to hurt the campaign, and in fact, so much money went to Yemi and allowed him to, be successful in the campaign? Why do you think that happened, even while these stories were in the air?
Well, I think that there's there's the old iron triangle that they talk about in national politics, where you are in politics and then you get out and you're in a consultancy role or whatever. There's a lot of money that's getting shoveled to organizations that Yemi has had in the past. So, you talk about this, but the same day that this Daily Wire story came out, the Colorado Springs homeless plan came out, our very own Project 2025.
From the mayor's office.
From the mayor's office, yeah. And it's just full of gobbledygook. You read it and it says nothing except we're going to shovel money to NGOs, and we're going to establish roundtables to discuss possible venues of conception of. There's no point in this plan.
There's no policy.
There's no policy in this plan, but there's an awful lot of money going to, as Jim Miller likes to say, the politically profitable problems, right? So if you're an activist and you can make sure that your NGO gets highly funded in order to not solve the problem, well, then you're going to support the guy who's going to make sure you get the money.
That was Andrew Dalby, Colorado Springs native and former mayoral candidate who ran against Mayor Yemi Mobilade. What we're discussing here, and when we come back we will continue, is did Mayor Yemi know, did Mayor Yemi lie when the feds came to question him about this hate crime hoax during his campaign? I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. Stick around. We'll be right back with Andrew Dalby and Jordan Baldwin. Okay, guys, we got 3 minutes. How do we want, this is a 7-minute segment. It's the final one. What do we want to do to put closure on what we presented in this realm of veracity, character, things like that? Where do we want to go? Do you have more policy things to talk about?
Well, I would like to say that there was a fire academy scheduled for the second half this year, and it was canceled. And I've talked to people, and no one will give me a reason why it was, but that money is going to other places. The whole, we're going to convert the fire department and the police department into social workers rather than people who you call in case of an emergency.
Yep.
So do you want to get into sort of promises, but versus like how the governance has been going?
Well, and here's the thing. I think that would be good too, because Darcy had talked about the kind of got onto the grant through Men of Influence. One Body Entertainment got $150,000 to do Juneteenth. We could talk about how Pride has been diverted money's been diverted away from other celebrations that people know and love, which was talked about yesterday. And at the end of the day, Yemi is at the center of a lot of this, and that we have evidence on that. And it seems like he is trying to transform the landscape of Colorado Springs into more of a inclusive community.
Well, I mean, that's what that was the only thing that he said in the campaign, was he wants to make it more inclusive.
So there you go. I think that would be.
So he's fulfilling that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if what you mean by inclusive is exclusive, if what you mean by inclusive is,
Right. The rodeo is shut down, but the Pride Parade gets more funding, or Juneteenth and things
right.
like that.
So if some small minority gets lavishly funded, while the majority gets, the highest crime, highest automobile crime rate in the country.
But you can't do any of that and accomplish that goal without these NGOs and these media companies that are minority
So we're back in
owned.
30 seconds, so we're just going to sort of leave this open. Okay, so just make sure if I give you a wrap up to do it, because I got to finish, right? I got to, okay. Okay, we're good? Okay, thank you.
And we should put that audio clip. We should put the audio clip on the site if it's not already there.
Which one?
The one that he has.
Just get me stuff, I'll put it on tonight.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. So we're citizen journalists here, and we want to invite you to help us tell this story, because the more people we have investigating, the more people with tips, anything that we can investigate. I think a lot of the reasons why the local news is not covering this is because they had nothing, nothing in the works, nothing about Yemi. They're not paying attention to what he's doing, or when he's doing an event where it's a photo op maybe, but there's not really a lot of coverage about his administration or his history or anything. It was all sort of pushed away, but we have been investigating. We investigated things regarding the Pride Parade and other things, and if you've been listening to this program, you've heard it. And so we were prepared to present information, but there was no real smoking gun or dead body or anything you want to say. So we couldn't really say anything, because what are we going to say? And this Daily Wire article, again, that Yemi lied to the feds, and go read it on the Daily Wire, there's a link on our website, is allowing us to present you with information regarding these things so that you can make up your mind. We may have forgotten that that's what the media is supposed to do, present the information so you can draw your own conclusions. I'll let you know from knowing the person, conversations I had with him during the campaign. I had a private conversation with him. He came into the radio station, I had a private conversation, and I said, why are people saying you're a socialist or a Marxist, or that you're dangerous? He said, I don't know, I don't have any idea. But now, here we have all of this evidence that he hangs with BLM people and with these people that were now convicted of things, and he's trying to distance himself from them. And something that we played yesterday was actually this Bernard angry at Yemi, because when the murder conviction was coming up, it seems that Yemi sort of abandoned him, and he was very angry. And this clip is actually up there where he says, we lied for you, and you're turning your back on us. And the media is not covering this at all. And to me, that's like the real scandal here, is where's the media in our town on the key position in our city? They are ignoring the story, but we aren't. And so please go on the peak.news, check these things out, but join us as a citizen journalist, a tech. We have an internship program. You can be a sponsor. You can be a guest if you have information. And we've set up an anonymous tip line, if you want it to be anonymous, on this page, the peak.news/hate crime hoax, or you can just get to it from our homepage. If you have any tips, put it on there, because we just want to get to the truth so that we can move on with this thing. But it seems like we're operating in a fog. But the Peak, we're committed to say the quiet stuff out loud. Jordan?
Yeah, so if you look at Yemi from a surface level, you might see this very charismatic character. It's a pastor. But the reality is, as you look at more and more, you see this picture of Yemi running on this platform of oppression and identity politics, and that Yemi needs to accomplish this goal of making the city more inclusive. You would have to work with these groups that we're hearing about. Family Flavors, the Slide Broadcasting Network, which is minority owned. These groups, they promote themselves through the identity politic platform. And it seems that they jumped onto helping Mayor Yemi get into office. We all know that. But what level of involvement did he have with them? It sounds like there's some lies that are going around, or there's some dishonesty, and there's some holding back. So, that clip was played because they talk about that intersectionality, how the struggle of the LGBT community is connected to the struggle of all minorities, riot for your rights. When I talked to Mayor Yemi, he said, that he couldn't help because it was a community safety issue, unless it was a community safety issue. And I would say that these things are getting to the point of community safety issues, to where these people do not promote America. They promote destructive things for America, and their whole message is to tear down so they can rebuild.
And even things we showed yesterday of Yemi's posts about criticizing America as racist and things like that. But it seems like in the 10 years or so that he's been here, he's done very well. He's mayor over a large city, and I don't think any of us think that we're racist against anybody here. We just want people to do their job. Andrew,
Well, yeah,
final thoughts here?
Well, I think that's exactly right. We're not a racist community. We haven't been a racist community.
You've been here your whole life.
I've been here my whole life. We were never a racist community. I went to Mitchell High School, which is...
You weren't in the Klan or anything.
No, I mean, that's exactly it. I went to Mitchell High School, which was, 30% white, 30% black, 30% Hispanic, 10% Asian. This is not a new mixing thing. It's not like... And that's a lie that he's the first black mayor. Leon Young was a mayor, and he's black. So... The whole idea is that we're finally past our being a hateful situation. This is a military town. There's no organization in the country that has integrated earlier or more effectively than the military. So the whole idea that somehow that there's this intersectionality, we're holding down the black man in Colorado Springs because of our...
And when he ran for school board, he talked CRT and all kinds of things. So there's a consistency here.
Right. So I just, again, and like I said, when we were running, I met with him a couple times. I met with him at his restaurant, and I said, hey, you've got some signage up, some banners up that are very divisive. You say you want to be inclusive, but here you've got these posters up, these flags up that are, that are divisive, and they're hateful symbols that you have up there. And again, he tries to have it both ways, where I'm very inclusive, but if by inclusive you mean exclusive.
So
Exactly.
We're going to continue tomorrow. When we come back and finish the show, we're going to let you know who's going to be on tomorrow as we continue this trinity of shows, this three-part, in order to do something that the rest of the media doesn't seem that they want to do or that they want to touch, which is, did Mayor Yemi know about this hate crime hoax that was being perpetrated? Again, go read the Daily Wire article, go read the indictment, the federal indictment. We have it all on our website at thepeak.news/hate crime hoax. We're going to continue to put more information up there because our job is to empower you to decide this for yourself. But as a community, if this is true, we have an issue. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman, and we'll be right back with The Peak.
Good.
Okay.
I think it kind of...
good? Was it solid? Was it
Yeah,
good?
I think it reared
Was
in
it
the
solid,
direction
folks? Are
we
we
want.
doing okay? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to thank you real quick. Oh, thank you for that coffee I made an hour ago.
Yeah.
Did you want that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. You're the best intern. You're like a son to me. He's doing great.
Good.
Yeah. And works his butt off.
He is. He's really in it too. You can tell.
He's the most detail-oriented of my children. He's like me, so
Yeah.
it works out great. Except when he gets on me for not doing something. Then I find that. Then I learn what it's
Isn't
like.
that terrible when
Then
your kids get after you for failing to do your job?
Then I learn what it's like to be around me.
Right, then you see a little of yourself.
Dad, did you follow up on this? No. Why not? Because I got busy. Were you busy or were you scrolling?
I had 1 hour sleep last night.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to thank you real quick. Jordan, we'll talk about tomorrow, may just be Jim and Dave. Do you feel that you've pretty much presented and...
I mean, other than what we're waiting on to come back, I'd say, yeah, there's nothing really new or breaking I have yet. But
okay, yeah, we'll see what happens
yeah,
over
exactly.
the next week.
There's a lot coming up because that's what I need to do now. Spend my time really following up and getting the next step.
I'll mention that real quick. Cora reports. I mean, people can hear. We talked about that yesterday.
Yep.
It was suggested that we Cora Yemi's travel records and things like that of because supposedly he's out of town a lot and where's he going and what's he doing and trying to get that to see if there's any there.
We're gonna core the text too, or I mean, I think I already sent that one out. I'm sending them in separate different requests so it doesn't blanket deny it.
And anything from the Daily Wire guy?
No, I haven't got any response. So I might send a general one to their general Daily
Okay,
Wire.
I'm sorry, I haven't written anything yet, but I mean, the guy wrote the article. We got to get some backup on
I
it.
mean, I sent it directly to him.
No.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that too and just kind of go from there. But the Cora's coming back, getting put up on the site. We could get something back that would really break ground on evidence or, you know, a
Just
conclusion.
tell me, I'll build a more complex site with tabs and things. Right now, it's just one page with a lot of stuff slapped up there, but this is our foray into having a news website. We haven't done that, so we're breaking it. We wanted to.
Well, like you said, it's sad that here we are 5 days after it broke nationally, and no one locally is even talking to it. You give a scoop.
Thank you for joining us for the peak as we did part 2 of Did Mayor Yemi Know? Please check out our program from yesterday. We don't want to repeat so much, and so we're doing this as a 3-part program. I want to thank Jordan Baldwin of First Amendment Media for all the great information, and to let you know he's doing things called Core Requests, where we're going after this to get all the information that we can to share with you and to share with the public at large, which the local media is not doing. Andrew Dalby, thank you so much. Thanks for running for mayor, and thank you for your support of the Peak, and thank you for your input on today's program.
Thanks so much.
So, what are we doing tomorrow for 3? Well, we're sort of escalating it up. Dave Donaldson, City Councilman Dave Donaldson, is never one to hold back words, and so we've invited him. In fact, there was a clip that was just released that yesterday during a working session, he was asking a representative of the mayor's office, will the mayor please come down here and answer these questions, you know, and did he know, and when did he know it, things, and it was basically, you know, it was said no, that's not going to happen. But Dave is going to come on tomorrow, as well as Just a Guy Jim Miller. If you've been missing him in his rants, we didn't think the rants during this really serious situation with the mayor was a proper thing to do. But guess what? Jim ran against Mayor Yemi also, and so he has personal experience. But we're going to be bringing on sort of some bulldogs tomorrow who love to say the quiet stuff out loud all the time, and we're going to see where that goes, as long as any other news that we have coming your way. Well, we are the Peak. We air Monday through Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m., so join us tomorrow. We'll have a special Thanksgiving show. Also, go on our website, thepeak.news, check out this evidence for yourself. We always encourage people to be engaged citizens. And this is a time that we need to, folks. If you want to know the truth, you got to dig at it, because it's certainly not being handed freely anywhere around here. Larry Elder Show is coming up next here on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer, the Peak, we say the quiet stuff out loud, and thank you for being with us to help us say it even louder for such a time as this. Pikes Peak region, shalom. Okay.
Great show.
We're actually being a news organization.
I know, no. This is...
Thank you, everybody. Oh, sorry, I keep looking at the laptop. The camera's up there. Thank you. If you have any information, if you're interested, please share these links with everybody. Get this information out. Let's get to the bottom of this. And if Yemi didn't do this, let's get his name cleared. If he did do it, well, we have sort of a major situation on our hands, both in the political and the faith community, to deal with, because he's in both. But thank you for being a fan of the Peak. Please spread the word. And we'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Same Peak time, same Peak channel. Thank you.
We'll stay on it. Yeah, I'm really anxious to see. I think that